Hi, so today I'm going to be demonstrating how to replicate and use sharding in Mongodb. So the first thing I did was make three directories called replica 1, replica 2 and replica 3. Then I started three Mongodb servers on the ports 27011, 27012 and 27013. So I've already initialized the 2701 server, so now I'm going to initialize the other two. So that's the 27012, and then for the 27013. Now that my servers are running, to initialize my replica sets, I'm going to open them in Mongo localhost for the ports I specified above. So I've initialized the 27011. The localhost on 27012 and the localhost on 27013. Okay, so on the localhost 27011, I'm going to initialize my replica set using rs.initiate. And here you can see that it says OK1, so it's successful. Okay, so now if we want to know that which server is the master or which server is the slave, we can use a command called rs.status, and it's going to tell us information about these servers, and the primary is going to be the master server, and then the secondary are going to be the slaves. So I'm just going to type that in now and see. Okay, so you can see that localhost 27011 is the primary, so this one is the master server. 27012 is the secondary, and 27013 is the secondary as well. So these two are the slaves, and this one is the master. So for the slaves to be able to get the data from the master server, you need to say rs.slave okay and true. So I did that for the 27012. Now I'm just going to do that for the 27013 as well, so both of the secondary ones. Now if we go back to the master server, I want to test if it actually inserts data into the secondary ones. Okay, so to insert something in, I'm just going to say db.echo.insert. I can put anything in here. So if I just say test and first, you can see that the result has been inserted. Now I want to retrieve this from the slave side. So if I go into 27012, which is the secondary one, and I want to retrieve what I wrote in the master, I'm just going to do db.echo.find. And you can see that here it returns what I inserted in the master slave. And I can also check this in 27013. So this is the other one as well. So we can check here too. And I get the same result. Another thing to take into consideration here is that I'm only able to write or insert stuff from the master server. So if I was to use db.echo.insert and add something here, it would give me an error. So you can only insert stuff from the master server. Another thing to note is that Mongo promotes high availability. So for example, if the master server goes down, one of the slaves will be elected to become the primary or the master server. So if we test this out, this is the primary one, the 27011. If I shut this down, if I do Control C, And if I also shut down my server for 27011, you can see it's shut down. So now if I go into one of my slaves, so the 27012, I can see the status on who's being promoted to become the primary by doing rs.status, and you can see that 27013 has now become the primary, and it's telling me that 27011 is not reachable or healthy. So here you can see. So the next thing is sharding in MongoDB. So I've used horizontal sharding, and I'm going to demonstrate this now. So the first thing I did was make 3 directories called shard1, shard2, and shard3. So like replica set, this takes a special parameter, so shard svr. So in replica sets it was repl set, but here it's shard svr. And the specific ports will be 27014, 27015, and 27016. So now I'm just going to start these 3 servers. So this is the 27014, the 27015, and the 27016. Now that my 3 servers are running, I can open them on the local hosts for 271.04, 05, and 15 and 16. So the first one, the second one, and the third one. So now I'm going to initiate them using rs.initiate. So for the 27014 first, I'm going to take this over, and you can see that it says OK1, so it has been successful. Same thing for 27015, but instead I'm just going to replace the 27014 with 27015. OK again, and then for the last one as well, the 27016. Okay, so we're going to need another server called the config server in order to keep track of the sharding. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a directory called mongoshard1. Okay, so now I'm just going to use this config server and put in the directory I just made, and then on the port 27017. Okay, so let's start this config server. Then I'm going to start this on the local host of 27017, and once that's started, you can see the config repo. Then I'm going to initiate this for the local host 27017. Sorry. Right, so it's telling me that's already initialized. Now in order to create an entry point for the clients, I'm going to use Mongos, and this is going to connect the config server we just created, and it's going to keep track of all the sharding. So it's going to use the localhost 27017, and the port is going to be 27020. You can see here I've just started this server. I'm going to run the localhost 27020 as admin, and now I'm going to add the shards for all the sets I've created. So for 27014, 27015, and then 27016. So I'm just going to copy these in, and every time that it successfully inserts the shard, it's going to say shard are added for whatever the name of the set was, so for 270.14.15 and 16, and it's going to have a status of OK1. Now that I've added the shards for in these three, I'm going to need to specify the database I want to enable the sharding on and the collection and what key it's using. So I want to enable the sharding on the database called DataFinalCA, and this contains all my records, and I want the shard collection is inside this database, and I've called it data, and the key is student and starts at 1. So I'll go ahead and copy these two as well. So here again, it successfully did it. So now if you want to get the information of the distribution, you can just use db dot the name of your collection and dot get shard distribution. Okay, so first I'm going to go into the database I specified, so data underscore final underscore CA, and then I'm going to use db.get sharding distribution, and this is the output. You can also use the command called db.print sharding status, and this gives information on sharding and the chunks in the cluster. So I've already put this in, and as you can see, it's telling me that the shards, there are 3 shards for the these are 270.14, 270.15, and 270.16, and it just tells you if it's enabled and gives you the ID, so the name of the database. It tells you the primary one, and it tells you also the key, which is the student ID.